And I am a City of Detroit employee, worker for Mayor Archer, Mayor Kilpatrick, and now Mr. Bean. I have a poem here. I'd like you to listen to it first, and then I'll go into what I want to say. This poem is an abstract depiction of the white flight, racism, and period of rebellion which occurred in Detroit during the 1960s and the 1970s. The poem is also a symbol of the white flight from Detroit to the suburbs and the rise of a black empowered city government that followed the exodus of the white population to the suburbs. And it's called White Birds Pray. This is something that I just abstractly came to mind and I wrote it down. The white birds chose to fly away, fire burning with abandonment because the white bird stalked its prey. And prey it did with no delay upon the blackbirds of that day, till its prey grew black claws and rose above it 10 feet tall, to slash the wings and thrash the nests, to set the fire upon its quest. Till refuge sought the white birds flew, to build their nests upon anew, further out to where the white birds flew. Ahoy! A blackbird builds its nest, upon the white birds flighted best, did build until the blackbirds grew, and dared the white birds access through, and built it strong, tumble not, pray not, closed down the sky of the white bird's nest, abandoned for the blackbird's best, till white birds wanted new access with offerings for the blackbird's best. Caveat emptor, the blackbirds screech, till the blackbird's chief instead agreed that offerings built the nests anew and helped the trees where blackbirds flew, would beautify the forest bright, prevent the forest's droughful blight. To bring the white birds back again, allow the white birds access in. Till once again the white birds pray, till blackbirds up and fly away, with wings of pain and frightening dread, and promised offerings wake the dead, till no blackbirds can build their nests, and white birds build for white birds best. So, when I came to Detroit, it was in 1986, and I was surprised to see a predominantly black city government, which was something unheard of in California and Philadelphia and Texas, where I used to live before coming to Detroit. And I noticed that the people in Detroit had good paying jobs in the automotive industry, and they owned homes and businesses and drove nice cars. And so my goal was to apply for employment with the City of Detroit government because I thought it would provide the kind of job stability I needed to raise my family within the context of a black empowered community. So at the time, I was employed with a private sector law firm who had hired me, and I think it was due to affirmative action laws, and I didn't feel welcome or appreciated. And I had just graduated from Ross Business Institute as a legal secretary studies, but it was I was a low-paid filing clerk and a billing typist instead of a legal secretary at this law firm. When somebody stole some money there, they kept it in the safe at the law firm. I was the #1 suspect, but soon they learned that it was a white coworker that stole the money because she had a cocaine problem, and so even though they never directly accused me, I felt even more isolated and marginalized. So I sought to seek employment with the City of Detroit, and I took the test with the City of Detroit, passed it, and I've been employed with good benefits with the City of Detroit for 23 years now. So the city of Detroit has been good to me. I don't know what everybody else is talking about, but the City of Detroit was good to me and my family for 23 years. So eventually I learned the history of Detroit concerning race riots and rebellions that divided the city and led to this white flight. to the suburbs. So when I came on board with the city, there was this saying that you have to live in the city to work for the city. Therefore, most employees for the city were predominantly black. So I began to notice that there was a serious epidemic of drug trafficking and crack cocaine and heroin addiction, which was destroying the black community. The gambling addictions and the crime rate was high, and young black men were being locked up for long prison terms for minor offenses, and the female population had outnumbered the male population, which further eroded the family structure. So most black women who worked for the city of Detroit ran single parents' homes, and they were not married, and many black women in general were underemployed or either on welfare. So, I just wondered if the children were failing in school due to the instability in the communities, or the dysfunctional situations at home that they were facing because they were dropping out, and the dropout rate was increasing while the funding for the schools was decreasing. And more residents began to leave Detroit to move to the suburbs to escape these conditions. So at this time, President Clinton was downsizing, and welfare rolls were forcing. He was downsizing welfare rolls, and he was forcing most of the young black women to find low-paying jobs to support themselves and their children. And I noticed that there was social programs to help assist in education and training and healthcare and drug addiction. So now fast forward to today, after September 11, 2001, when President Bush declared that he was a war president and that he was going to raid the federal surplus, and things began to take a turn for Detroit, worse and threatening to push Detroit off the cliff even more, because a whole new series of problems were converging on Detroit at one time. And the major elephant in the room that was crushing Detroit to death and still is crushing Detroit to death is the funding for the war.